Hi, this is Ruchi Kulkarni. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do the poem for Anne Gregory, written by William Butler Yeats, and this poem is taken from Class 10th book First Flight. This poem is basically a conversation between a young man and a young girl named Anne Gregory. They are talking about where or how to find true love. The man tells her that if she finds a young boy who becomes sad because of her rejection, it doesn't mean that he was a true lover. He could have been charmed by her beautiful hair. Humans are generally swayed away by the glitter of outer beauty. Therefore, she must understand that any person who loves her outer beauty can never love her truly. It is only God who can love Anne only for herself and not for her external beauty. In today's session, we will read and understand this beautiful poem, followed by its poetic devices and rhyme scheme. Thereafter, we'll do the significance of the title, moral, and summary, as well as question answers. But first, let's begin with its poet, William Yeats. William Butler Yeats was born on 13 June 1865 in Sandymount, Ireland. He was an Irish poet, dramatist, writer, and one of the foremost figures of 20th century literature. He was a driving force behind the Irish literary revival and became a pillar of the Irish literary establishment who helped to found the Abbey Theatre. He won a Nobel Prize in Literature in December 1923. He died on 28 January 1939 in France. Never shall a young man thrown into despair by those great honey-colored ramparts at your ear love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. But I can get a hair dye and set such color there, brown or black or carrot, that young men in despair may love me for myself alone and not my yellow hair. I heard an old religious man but yesternight declare that he had found a text to prove that only God, my dear, could love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. Never shall a young man thrown into despair. A man is speaking to a girl named Anne Gregory, and he tells her that no young man will feel happy if he is rejected. He will be thrown into despair. He will become sorrowful or unhappy if he is rejected. But no young man will love you because you are you. By those great honey-colored ramparts at your ear. So the man tells her that young men will get despair or they will become unhappy if you reject them because they can see only your great honey-colored hair. And these honey-colored hair are like ramparts at your ear. Ramparts are high, wide walls which are built around a castle or a fort to protect it, the way we have it around Red Fort. So the man tells Anne Gregory that her honey-colored hair, that is dark yellow hair, are like walls around her ears. Because beyond these walls, a young man cannot see what is inside her soul. He cannot see her soul, he cannot see her inner beauty. He is only attracted to her hair. He is only attracted to her outer physical pretty face and her hair. He doesn't know what kind of a heart does she have. Love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. So he says to her that never a young man will love her only for what she is. He will never love her for herself alone. He will only love her because she has pretty yellow hair, because her hair is very beautiful. So in other words, the man wants to tell Anne that no young man will fall in love because of her inner beauty. They will only be attracted to her outer beauty, and that is not true love. But I can get a hair dye and set such color there, brown or black or carrot. To this young man, Anne Gregory replied that she can dye her hair, she can change the color of her hair and set this yellow color into brown or black or carrot color. She wants to say that she will hide the true beautiful color of her hair by dyeing it into some other color. That young men in despair may love me for myself alone and not my yellow hair. Anne wanted to do this so that the young men do not just fall in love with her yellow hair, but they should be able to fall in love with her for herself, for the way she is. In other words, these young men who are sorrowful because they are getting rejected by her, they can see her inner beauty if she hides her outer beauty, so that she may know that who is actually in love with her inner beauty and not just her looks. I heard an old religious man but yesternight declare. The young man then replied to Anne, and he said that he had heard an old man who was religious last night who declared something. That he found a text to prove that only God, my dear, could love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. The man tells that he heard an old religious man last night who declared that there is a text, there is a line in his religious records which says that only God can love a person with the way that person is, that only God can love her the way she is and not because of her yellow hair. She may come across many young men who announce that they are truly in love with her, but that is not true. No one will try to search her soul. No one will try to love her for inner beauty because they are so attracted by her face and her hair that they don't even look inside her. But on the other hand, if she wants to be truly loved, it is only God. She should have faith in God that only God can love her the way she is. Because God doesn't love anyone for their hair, their beauty, or their skin color. So it is only by Him that she'll be truly loved. Let us now look at the poetic devices and the rhyme scheme used in this poem. The first poetic device used in this poem is alliteration. It is a repetition of beginning consonant sounds in two or more closely placed words. There are many examples of alliteration in this poem, and they are you for yourself, here your sound is repeated. Your yellow, here again your sound is repeated. Set such, here sa sound is repeated. Brown or black, here b sound is repeated. And he had, here her sound is repeated. Next we come to metaphor. Metaphor is a poetic device where there is a comparison of two dissimilar ideas. In this poem, the line ramparts at your ear present a metaphor because here Anne's hair is compared to ramparts of fort. Now let's talk about anaphora. It's a poetic device where repetition of two beginning words or phrases occurs in two consecutive lines. In the last stanza of this poem, that word is repeated in two consecutive lines. Therefore, it shows anaphora. Let's now talk about refrain. Refrain is a poetic device which is used when a phrase or a line is repeated at the end of stanzas in a poem. In this poem, the lines love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair is repeated in stanza 1 and 3. Therefore, it shows refrain. Now let's talk about rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is a rhyming pattern created at the end of each line. Here, the poem's rhyme scheme is found out by giving a different letter to every line. The first line will always have the letter A. If the last word of the second line matches with the first line, it will have the same letter A, otherwise it will be given a different letter. Let's try to find out the rhyme scheme of first stanza of this poem. To begin with, let's underline the last words of every line. The first line will always be given the letter A. When we come to the next line, the last word is despair. It does not rhyme with man, therefore it is given a new letter B. The third line ends with honey colored, which does not rhyme with either despair or man, therefore it is given a new letter C. The fourth line ends with the word ear, which rhymes with despair, therefore it is given the same letter B. The next line ends with alone. Alone is a word which does not match with any other word, therefore it will be given a new letter D. The last line ends with hair. Hair matches with despair and ear, and therefore it will have the same letter B. Thus, the rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B, D, B. And likewise, you can find out the rhyme scheme of every stanza of this poem. This poem is a conversation between a young man and Anne Gregory. The man is advising her on how to find true love. This poem is basically a piece of advice for Anne Gregory to not fall into the love trap of a man who seems to be a true lover, but he may only be loving her for her outer beauty. Only God can love her for the way she is. And since this poem is a piece of wisdom for Anne Gregory, the title of it is Justified. The poet wants to give a message that we must prioritize inner beauty over outer beauty. External or physical beauty is short-lived, just like a bubble. What one must see is the heart and nature of a person. It is very difficult to find a lover who can accept you for who you are and not what you show. But there is only God who loves us for ourselves, irrespective of what we are. Now is the time to wrap up my session. Thank you for your love and support. Kindly show your appreciation by liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel, and stay connected for more. I'll flash the summary and question answer of this poem right away. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, be happy and stay blessed. Thank you and keep smiling.